Hello guys, it's Jozy here, back again with another video. Now in this video we're going to be going through things that you should look out for before hiring a sales rep. Now the reason I wanted to make this video is because I currently hired my second to third sales rep, and now I've taken myself out of sales calls where of course my team is doing all of that for me, which meant that I've gained a lot of time freedom back into it. And I did hire a few sales reps before coming to the 2-3 that are working with me right now, and I wanted to make this video going through the things that I wish I would have learned or I would have known before hiring a sales rep, right? And there's mainly three things that comes into mainly hiring, or things that you need to get set up before hiring a sales rep, so then you can have the right roadmap to hire your sales rep, get yourself out of the day-to-day when it comes to the sales calls, setting calls, anything like that, because I know especially when you start taking so many bloody calls a day, it gets super tiring. So I want to give these few tips for you to get yourself out of it and give you a few gems. So if you don't know, my name is Jozy. Other people call me Jozy. I've scaled my own agency to multi 6 figures. Now I'm scaling my consulting agency to multi 7 figures, doing this while using a leverage system. And if you want to learn more about what we do, there's a link below for us to chat and for you to just understand a bit about our system, right? Without further ado, I want to go through the first thing that I wish I would have known, and that is get good at sales yourself. Now the reason why is because a lot of people want to actually a lot of people don't like sales, okay? And that's one of the biggest things. Like you're in a world of entrepreneurs that don't really like to be on sales calls, okay? Now the way I thought about it, and when I talk to people that don't like to be on sales calls, I get very weirded out by it, because for example, I look at business as like a sport. So let's say football, okay? So football, Americans call it soccer, and with football, you have a team, and a team knows how to do a lot of things. The team knows how to score, defend, midfield, save goals, everything like that. The same thing with business. You have sales, marketing, customer support, etc. Now, I know there's this big thing that you shouldn't be doing everything in your business, but I don't believe that. I believe that you should know how to do everything in your business, and then once you know how to do everything in your business, that's when you can give it to other people so that they can carry out the specific task. Especially if you're really below 7 figures, you really want to hire to replicate instead of hire to solve, in my opinion. Okay, now I speak to a lot of people that don't like to do sales and then wonder why they're not making money, okay? Because they don't have the skills of actually selling another human being into the program. But then they expect to hire someone that knows how to sell their product to their market, even though they haven't figured out how to do it themselves, right? And yes, you can find, let's say, one in the blue moon that can come in, build your whole sales system for you and then sell on your behalf. But to be honest, if I'm doing that for a business, I'm going to want half of the revenue, because if I'm not in that business, they don't have any sales. If a business doesn't have any sales, they're lost, right? And a lot of people don't like being in sales calls, don't like being in that sales environment, but it's literally that sales environment that you need to scale the agency. And the agency is more of a sales-based business. Like it's a lot about sales. Like the biggest agencies have like the biggest contracts, but they know how to sell, right? Especially the biggest agency owners, they know how to sell, they know how to handle objection, they know how to get the deal across the line. And a lot of people don't want to know how to do that, and then wonder why they're stuck in the agency. So the first thing I would say is learn how to sell, right? Learn how to sell a minimum 25%, meaning that you have an acquisition channel that's currently working, whether that be LinkedIn, email, Facebook, as whatever you're doing to generate appointments. Make sure you know how to close at least 20 to 25% of all of the calls that you're getting right now yourself, right? Before hiring a sales rep. The reason why is because you're going to know what to say. You're going to know the limiting beliefs. You're going to know how a day of a sales rep feels like, right? You're going to know how to manage your emotions, how to manage calls when you have a lot of calls. And also you're going to build systems that has predictably helped you get to, let's say, 25% close rate. So now when you actually hire someone, you know, this is how I can close, and I'm doing all these other things like customer support, marketing, XYZ, and I can still close at 25%. I know if you're only doing sales, you can close at least 25-30%. So you're going to have a high expectation of them, and you know that they can actually meet the expectation because you can actually help them get that. Okay, now once you know how to get that 25% closing rate, at that point, then you can start thinking about hiring a sales rep, right? But you need to know and need to have the skill on how to feed yourself first before learning how to feed other people, right? And that's what a lot of people don't understand. People are like, oh, I want to, even when it comes to marketing, I want to hire a marketing agent. I want to do all my marketing to get my appointments, but you don't know how to get appointments yourself. And I strongly believe that that's wrong way of thinking about business, because if you don't know how to get appointments yourself and a marketing agency come in, even if the marketing agency does well and gets you loads of appointments, right? As soon as they leave, which, like I said, no relationship is built forever, right? They will leave one day. And the moment they leave, your business just goes from, let's say, 50 appointments per month all the way back to 0 appointments per month. And then what happens to you then? The same thing with sales. If you have a sales rep that can only sell, and let's say that sales rep leaves or gets injured or has some family trauma going on, which you can't control, you can't go back in the field and sell because you never had the skill to begin with. Okay, so just to give you a quick story, I took over 1,000 calls, closed over 70 to 100 clients myself before I hired a sales rep, right? And I know like not a lot of people want to hear this because it sounds so gruesome. However, knowing how to sell yourself is gonna literally help your business and help yourself get to the point that you are selling, that you are profitable with the business before getting someone in. Because you're getting someone in, they may not close as good as you, which means you're losing out money on potential opportunities on giving it to another person. So 100% recommend, especially if you're trying to shortcut it, do not try shortcut it. Literally just learn how to sell yourself before you get someone else to sell for you. Okay, so what should you do? You should do role plays every single day. Find a role play partner, join school groups where there's a lot of sales communities that you can learn how to sell. Take a course, right? But invest in a sales program. I invested in a sales program. Everyone invests in sales program to learn how to sell better. Also jump on a lot of sales calls. Now a lot of people talk about it, but the best way to get good at sales is to actually keep selling, and learn how to fail forward fast, right? So everyone talks about failing, like making mistakes. So I like to fail forward, meaning I'm making a mistake and then listening back to the sales calls, doing a feedback loop, and then actually getting better at sales. And that's what you want to be doing until you close at least 10 to 20 clients yourself, right? You actually have good examples of you closing before you get someone in to actually take care of the closing for you and get your time back. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, get your lead flow problem fixed, right? Book at least 10 appointments per day. Like you want to be aiming for at least 10 appointments a day because appointments are the oxygen, literally the lifeblood of sales reps, right? And I'm saying this because let's say if your ticket price is like below 20K per 20K, let's say LTV or 20K upfront, okay? The sales rep needs to be jumping on a lot of calls for them to earn 5 to 10K a month. And like, especially good sales rep, they want to earn 6 figures. Like every sales rep wants to earn 6 figures. Okay. Like that's just state, like just know that to be true. Every sales rep wants to earn 6 figures and wants to earn big money. And if you don't have enough appointments in your calendar to feed them, they're not going to take that. They're not going to see the opportunity as profitable for them, right? Because they're like, hey, this guy's already getting 3 calls a day and he expects me to jump on this offer and his offer is like $3,000 a month. How am I going to make 10K a month from this, right? And the answer is like, they can't because you don't have enough opportunities for them, right? And just to give you an incline, before I got the first sales rep, I was already booking 12 appointments a day, right? By myself, like with my team, of course, but just me on the sales call. So when I got him, he already had a full calendar, like on his first week. He already had a full calendar, which meant he was sticking around longer. He wasn't looking at other offers because he's like, this offer is feeding me day in and day out. I'm going to focus on this. I know this offer. I know this lead. I know this owner. And it's very easy for them to stay because you are giving them so many opportunities that they don't even think about looking anywhere. And I want to give you kind of a quick story because when I was interviewing a lot of sales reps, I was jumping on phones like 4 to 5 sales reps each and every single day, interviewing them to see if they'd be a great position. And all of them, even though they already had an offer, the reason they left the offer like 80% of the time was because of lead flow. Think about that. Just because of lead flow. Like the offer was great. They liked the owner, right? They thought the product was good, right? 80% of the time they left is because they didn't get enough appointments on their calendar, right? So in my head, knowing that to be true, seeing every single person I'm interviewing saying, hey, I left my offer, even though they're very good sales reps, right? Even though they're very good sales reps, they left their offer where they were making money because the owner just didn't get them enough appointments, okay? Now, me knowing that, as an owner, what is the one thing do you think I'm going to be doing every single day? Making sure they have bloody appointments, but because that's their job. If they don't have appointments, they're not going to win and they're not going to make money because it's a commission-based role, right? So, more of the story is aim for 10 appointments a day, right? As you get in a sales rep, because trust me, a sales rep will never leave you if you're literally giving them appointments each and every single day and they have opportunities, right? If they have opportunities, their brain is just like, oh my God, there's appointments, there's money here, there's money here, there's money here, right? It's like dangling a carrot in front of a donkey. I don't want to say this because it sounds really bad, but dangling a carrot in front of a donkey, like that carrot that you're dangling in front of sales rep is the appointment. So make sure you have a good appointment lead flow as you get in a sales rep, or else it's not going to be worth it. Maybe they'll stay with you 1 month, but if you can't consistently get it up, and you're going to have bad months, of course, you have to just tell the sales rep that, but if you can't consistently get it to a point that they're having like 5 to 10 calls each and every single day consistently, they will start looking elsewhere. Okay. And that's the main thing. Okay. So, action point for this thing is to actually learn how to book appointments. Get to a point again, 10 appointments per day each and every single day. Do that for around 2 to 3 months. Even if you're booking 100 to 200 appointments a month for 2 to 3 months, that should be enough of a lead flow for you to get another sales rep in. And trust me, sales reps are literally like, if sales reps see your calendar and it's full, they're going to jump on board. They literally are going to jump on board because they can see the opportunity, they can see the money there. Okay. Now, last lesson is hire from courses and other great sales reps. Okay, now the first time I hired a sales rep, I hired him from a Facebook group, and it didn't really go well, right? Because I hired him in a group where there was anyone and anyone, and it was just other agency owners, other business owners, other employees, like people that wasn't really niche down. So what happened, I used to get very, very bad applicants applying for my job post, and at that point I really needed a sales rep because and this was one big stake of mine. I really wanted to get out of sales at that point because I closed to money. I was like, it's just feeling like a job now, right? And that's one of the biggest things about sales. Sometimes it does feel like a job, especially as a business owner, and that's not why you built the business. Okay, and I wanted to get out of sales so desperately, which was my mistake, not vetting a lot of people right. Okay, and that could be probably lesson 3.8, right? Vetting a lot of people right, which meant I hired a sales rep that wasn't really, he was a good sales rep, but he wasn't the right fit for our offer and our product and our market, right? He didn't really care too much about marketing. He didn't really see how we could help. And what happened is that I had to let go of him, okay? And the reason why is because he didn't fit in with what we were doing, and he wasn't getting the results that we were promised, which meant I spent like a month ahead, a month of marketing, literally like thousands of dollars down the drain, giving him appointments that he didn't close. That I closed as well. When I jumped on the call, I was closing the appointments, but when he was jumping on the calls, he wasn't closing the appointments, right? And now he's on another offer. He's doing really well on the other offer, but he just wasn't a great fit for our offer, which totally happens, okay? And the reason why is because I wasn't going to the pool that had the best candidates for my specific offer, my specific service. And I wish I would have just jumped on a lot of school groups, a lot of sales communities where there actually is high ticket closers, because the people that are in like these core sellers groups, they've invested into their skill, right? They're more like emotionally attached to that kind of skill of becoming a sales rep, right? They're not just a guy that you just hired your friend and he just wants to try it out. There's someone that is actually dedicated to embedding the skills, actually becoming the best of the best, and actually wants to become a top closer. They're usually more hungry, they're usually more coachable, trainable. They have the characteristics you need to mold them into kind of success, right? And just going via that, you're going to find much better applicants. Even if you don't get the same amount of volume / quantity, but you get better quality, it's going to mean that you need to go on less interviews, and the people that you actually pick from is going to be more suited for your niche, right? As well as if you know other companies, like I see you're friends with other competitors and you know that they have a good sales rep, you can ask their sales rep if they have any friends that's looking for a sales role, because usually good sales rep knows other good sales reps. Like that's what I found around in the industry. A great sales rep knows other great sales reps. So asking them for a handout, asking them for an introduction or referral, even if you add an extra $500 to $1,000 to $1,500 fee onto that, right, as a referral bonus, then they would happily make that introduction, right? Because great closers usually know great closers. So the action item from that is just join as many course creators or course sellers groups, right? Even if you have to pay for one, it's worth the investment, because one or two good sales reps could literally buy back months, if not years of your time back, right? So join groups, find people that are actually motivated, actually have invested, and then you can start hiring them and bring them into your company, right? And these are the main three things. So like I said, get good at sales yourself. Make sure you have a lead flow problem fix. Make sure you're getting 10 appointments a day, and start hiring from these core sellers groups, or let's say start asking referrals from great sales reps. And that's literally the three things that I would do if I could go back in time and would fix before hiring a sales rep, or as I'm hiring a sales rep, so that you can get a great sales rep and come into your business, start crushing it from day one, closing you so many deals, and actually buying your time back. Okay, well, this is all it. If you need help in terms of actually going through the whole process, booking appointments, offer, sales rep, there is a link below for us to chat. And that's all it from this video. Like, subscribe if you actually like this video, because I'm going to be pumping out way more. Just drop a like, drop a subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.